Hey guys, this is Alan from GameCraft Miniatures. I'm going to give you a quick little tutorial on putting together our 15 and 20 millimeter foam board series of buildings. This is a 15 millimeter factory here. The same procedures I use here on this one will apply to the 20 millimeters as well. As you can see, all of the buildings have little tabs and slots where the parts line up. So as you can see, this part just goes right in there. This part here goes right in there. Then these other parts here go on this way. Things you'll need are a white glue, your regular Elmer's glue, carpenter's glue, or if you have a arts and crafts store nearby and you have available to you tacky glue, this is real good stuff. It's just like white glue, but it's a lot thicker. So what you'll want to do is put a bead of glue. Now because it's thick, it takes a second to get going here. Put a bead of glue along this here. And then these tabs that are going in, put a little bit on the tabs, because they're going in this way. And just put it together like that. If you have a little stick or something where you can kind of go along here and spread that glue out so it doesn't blob up there. If you have any kind of little blocks or something you can use to hold things nice and square, it's a good idea to use those. If you don't, just figure something out. We do the same thing over here. Put some glue on there. Put some glue on the, oops, I want this to go that way so these doors line up. So we'll put a little glue there and there. And then we'll just slide this guy in there. Again, take our little stick along the inside and just kind of spread that glue around that's kind of mashed out. And we'll put this here just to kind of hold everything there. Okay. Alright, so we got our two ends and one side. We'll go ahead and put this side on now. So we'll turn it over. Some glue there. And I'm going to go on the inside here. Just drop that in there. As you can see, these just go together in a matter of minutes. Go together real fast. Okay. And then these guys here go in there and they'll go in the same way. We'll just put the glue on this surface and on the tab and glue it in. And that's all there is to getting them basically put together. Now what I want to show you here is, grab a little scrap of material here so I can illustrate. These foam boards have a paper face on both sides and then a foam in the middle. So we'll draw here. This is the paper face and this is the foam core on the inside. What happens when these pieces are cut on the laser, in order for there to be enough energy to cut through the first layer of paper and the second layer of paper, there's quite a bit of heat generated. And what happens with that heat is that it heats up the foam and basically melts it back a little bit. So there's a bit of a void near the edge. I don't know if you can see here in the camera, but right in here, these tabs along this edge, there's a bit of a concave void in there where the foam is melted a little bit. If that doesn't bother you, you can just leave it alone. It's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. But in the cases like in the end here where these pieces come together and you can really see it there, you might want to take something like this, spackling paste. This is used for patching walls, you know, drywall and things like that. And you can fill those voids in there and really clean up that corner real nicely. You can go completely crazy and go everywhere and fill that if you want, but probably the corners is where you're most going to want it. Now when you get into a building like this one has some tabs here that keep this floor lined up. It slips in there. So we got these big holes here where you can plainly see the foam has melted back. So you'll want to fill those up as well as the end pieces with the spackle. And here's an example here of two of those tabs that have been filled and a corner that's been filled. Just used the vinyl spackling and had to do it twice. You put it on the first time, let it dry, sand it off, and you'll see that the spackling has shrunk a little bit and it's still a little below the surface. So you'll want to put a second coat on, let it dry completely, sand it off, and you'll end up with a fairly decent looking face here. So you don't have to see these ugly holes and these ugly bits on the end. Now as far as the edges go here, I think it looks kind of cool that it's sunk in. It looks like there's sort of an interior and an exterior wall, which is kind of cool. But if you don't like that, you can fill it in also. And then once you get to this point and you've got your corners all filled in and the way you like it, then just go ahead and paint it with your favorite paint method. I would probably spray the whole thing very, very lightly with an aerosol primer, because I like to primer everything. I use Rust-Oleum Gray Automotive Primer. Just give it a real light coat and then go on with whatever kind of paint you want on top of that. I would recommend water-based paints, your Polyas, your Tamiya, Tester's Model Master, or whatever brand you want. Even brands from the art store would work fine as long as they're a water-based. I think that's probably the best route to go with something big like this. So that's your basic construction. It's just gluing together with white glue or tacky glue if you have it available. Specifically with this model here, you know, these guys here will get put in this way. There are no roof pieces because you'll need to reach in to get at your figures. You can make roof pieces if you like out of whatever scrap material you have laying around. You can make them removable. But I thought I would just omit those in this particular model just to make it a little more gameable. If that's even a word, I don't even know. But once you get these guys glued in, give this glue a little time to dry. This thing will be nice and sturdy and very lightweight. And I think that's about all you need to know about it. Pretty simple construction. All you need is glue, couple of metal blocks, wooden blocks, little T-square type thing, whatever you got to keep things squared up. Put it together. I wouldn't recommend putting any tape to hold things together while the glue's drying, because when you peel the tape off, you're going to damage the paper facing on the foam board. Unless you have some very, very low tack tape, which is not cheap, but you can get it at your Home Depot or Lowe's or your local DIY store. Just make sure it's very, very low tack and test it somewhere, maybe like on the inside where you're not going to see it, and make sure it doesn't tear the paper when it comes off. So there you go. There's basic construction techniques and basic finishing on the 15 and 20 millimeter foam board series from GameCraft Miniatures. Thank you very much.